In 1560, a Spanish physician brought some tobacco plants back from the New World and presented it to King Philip II of Spain. This is when smoking tobacco through a long, elaborate pipe became fashionable among European aristocrats. But not everyone was happy with this new fad, and in 1604 King James I wrote a counterblast to tobacco, calling it stinky weed, and he said that smoking it is "a custom loathsome to the eye, hateful to the nose, and harmful to the brain, and dangerous to the lung. He that taketh tobacco saith he cannot leave it, and death be with him." So from the very beginning of when smoking first came into play, they knew it was bad. Now let's talk about the history of smoking. At this time in history during the 17th century, the condemnation of tobacco became extreme. In Russia, they would penalize you in smoking with punishments such as whipping, mutilation, exile to Siberia, and even sometimes death. In Turkey, Japan, and China tried similar tactics, but tobacco continued to spread. By the end of the 17th century, smoking spread so much that there was no way to contain it, and eventually it became a symbol of modernism, as those countries that tried to stop it just let it happen. Let's move forward into American history of smoking. Smoking became very popular in the United States during the Civil War. First it was cigars, and then cigarettes became popular. At the beginning of the 20th century, America could choose from a variety of ways to satisfy their tobacco needs. They had cigars, they had pipes, and they had cigarettes. But cigarettes became popular for two main reasons. First, women wanted to be seen as equals, so smoking a cigarette was something they could do to be considered equal. And by the 1920s, they had slogans like "Reach for a lucky instead of a sweet." This was a clever effort to portray cigarette smoking as a weight control aid. The second was during the World War I, cigarettes was the logical form to take to war, as they didn't want to have a lot of tobacco in their pockets and stuff like that. And they were used to calm the soldiers and relax them. Even soldiers back then were issued cigarettes in order to help relax them as much as possible. As smoking continued through history in America, evidence of health risk accumulates and restrictions on public consumption were instituted. Later they found out the environmental smoke and side stream smoke inhaled by non-smokers as a result of smoking can cause lung cancer. Since this, most states and cities have enacted law making smoke-free environments. Now let's talk about what is tobacco. When a smoker inhales from a lit cigarette, the temperature of the tip rises to 1700 degrees and the oxygen is drawn through the tobacco, paper, and other additives. When the smoker inhales, they are inhaling things like carbon monoxide and the nicotine. Carbon monoxide is an extremely toxic gas that prevents blood cells from carrying oxygen from the lungs to the rest of the body. Nicotine is a toxic dependence-producing psychoactive drug found in tobacco. Nicotine is very addictive and makes it hard to quit smoking. Some of the problems with tobacco that it causes are respiratory disease, such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, causing problems with breathing and blocking of the airways, chronic bronchitis, emphysema. It also can cause lung cancer and other kinds of cancer, which usually lead to death. Smoking is something that can kill you and has been frowned upon since the very beginning when it was first used. So why would you even start or continue to smoke knowing what you know now? Have a good day.